Do you need help on how to answer those illegal questions, those inappropriate questions? Did you even know that there were questions out there that hiring managers should not be asking you? Well, if you didn't know, I want to share those with you. And I want to make sure you know your rights and you know how to answer those inappropriate questions, aka illegal questions. Keep watching and listening to today's Lunch and Learn Live with Janet Smith. Today's show is brought to you by Talentsmiths, where we help today's top paid compensation professionals find their next career. Check us out at talentsmiths.net for a free resume consultation so that you can build and grow your online presence for your intentional career advancement. That's talentsmiths.net. Talentsmiths focuses on compensation professionals, but we invite everyone to join us at 12:30 p.m. Central, 1:30 p.m. Eastern for Lunch and Learn Live. So you can tap into the broadcast and ask us your questions. So we're glad that you're here today. I want to help you and to share with you about some protected questions, some illegal questions, and to help you with how to strategically and professionally answer those questions during your interview. Let's learn how to shut down those illegal interview questions really fast. So I want to prepare you so that you can do this in the best way possible. So we're going to shut them down. We're going to be professional. We're going to be nice, but let's walk through the process. So some interview questions, like I said, are very inappropriate to ask during an interview. And I jokingly say illegal questions, but interviewers won't actually go to jail for asking you these questions, but they could face legal action for making a hiring decision and discriminating against a person based on your answers to these specific questions in these specific areas. Okay? So you're not going to send someone to jail just for asking you, and they're not wrong for asking you these questions. They are wrong for using your answers to make a hiring decision if there's discrimination involved. Okay? All right, so let's go through it even further because I definitely want to make sure that you know your rights. And I will say that to the defense of many hiring managers, lots of them just are not aware of what questions they should not be asking you or what questions are protected, what areas are protected. But if you know your rights, you know what you don't have to answer. If you're comfortable with answering the question, absolutely answer it, but know your rights. So, under Title VII of the Federal Civil Rights Act, it is unlawful for an employer to discriminate against any individual because of sex, race, color, national origin, religion, And there are now protected classes for physical or mental disability as well. Reprisal, which is retaliation, and sexual orientation. Protected classes are in these areas as well. These are also protected areas. Know your rights. Not sure if everyone knows this, but definitely make sure that everyone you know knows this or hears this or sees this. Share it with them. So, by knowing your rights as an applicant, as a job applicant, you can prepare yourself. You can get ready so that you can handle any of those off putting questions that may make you feel a little bit uncomfortable if they come your way. And like I said, you can answer these questions, but I just want you to know that you're not obligated to answer these questions. Of course, during your interview, you're still going to be professional. And I want to show you how to professionally shut down those inappropriate questions. Okay? So when you are shutting down those questions during your conversation and during your interview, you still want to be able to build a relationship with your interviewer. So your delivery makes all the difference. Just because they may ask you an inappropriate question does not mean that you should get defensive or upset. So we want you to go to the next round of interviews, and we want you to maintain professionalism at all times, but knowing your rights. So here's what that could sound like if they're asking you a question that is in the protected class. You could say something like this: well, I'm happy to provide any of my personal and pertinent details to include any documentation that you might need for my employment file once an offer letter has been presented. That's a good answer. That's a great answer, actually. And what that answer does is it lets them know that you are a cooperative applicant, a cooperative candidate, as well as an informed candidate / future employee. And the reason I say / future employee is because they will be able to visualize that if you know your rights when they hire you and you progress into a position of responsibility or a managerial position, you're going to know what questions not to ask anyone that you interview as well. Right? Right. So, as I said, remain positive, remain excited, remain informed, and remain protected because you are protected. Definitely, you are protected. So, if they persist, what is something that you should say? Very often, you may get some of these questions in more of a casual type conversation, not necessarily in the interview, sometimes in the interview, but it may be just a casual conversation. Something like, or our company loves participating in family events. We love to include our family in different events. Would you and your family be interested in joining us in, some type of event? This is them asking you about your family and possibly trying to get information on your marital status. That's not a bad thing. They're trying to have a conversation and they might not even know that what they're saying, it falls into that protective class. You can answer if you like, but you don't have to. So Don't get frustrated, but get curious. Learn why they're asking you these questions and why they need to know some of this information. You can come with a response like this. I'm unfamiliar with companies requiring that information at this stage of the hiring process. Could you walk me through your entire interview process? What personal information do you require up front? What are all the personal details that you require up front? And why do you need this information to make a hiring decision? That's the trigger right there. If employers are using this information to make a hiring decision and using this information to discriminate against certain people, that can cause legal ramifications for that employer. So when an employer discriminates against you based on your answers to those protected classes, that's when it becomes illegal. Make sense? Hopefully so. Those protected classes are age, marital status, family, race, ethnicity, your gender, your sexual orientation, your religion, and any disability that you might have. Those are all protected classes that employers should not be asking you questions about those things specifically before an offer is made. After you get hired, they're going to need that information for your file. It's okay to ask all of that information because they need to know you and they need to know all about you as well. So let's have a quick quiz. Who's up for a quick quiz? I'm going to, it's kind of like a reverse quiz, maybe like a Jeopardy type. So I'm going to give you the answers that you can say, and you have to let me know what questions the employers are asking you. Okay. So we've talked about the protected classes. We've talked about some samples and how you answer, examples and how you could answer. And we've talked about some of the questions that they actually might ask you. So I'm going to give you some answers and you share with me what you think the question is that the employer is asking you. Okay, so here's the first answer. I am old enough to work for your company. I am old enough to work for your company. So you tell me, what question do you think the employer is asking right here? Comment number 1 and tell me the question that you think they're asking right here. Let's go on. Answer number 2. They really aren't a concern and will not interfere with my ability to perform my job. They really aren't a concern and will not interfere with my ability to perform my job. This is answer number 2. You tell me, what's the question that this employer is asking you in answer number 2? Comment and let me know. Let's go to the third answer here. This is the third answer. I am legally authorized to work in the country advertised for this position. That's the answer for number 3. I am legally authorized to work in the country advertised for this position. So you tell me, what question do you think the employer is asking right here? So here's answer number 4. And I want you to tell me what you think the question is right here. Number 4's answer. I would love to share my expected salary range for this position after getting a few more questions answered. That's answer number 4. I would love to share my expected salary range for this position after getting a few more of my questions answered. That is answer number 4. So you tell me, what question do you think the employer is asking to get this answer? Mm. So I've given you 4 answers that you can use for 4 different questions. And I'd love for you to comment and let me know what you think the questions are for these answers. So message us here at Talentsmiths to get the questions to those answers that you can use. You can use all of those answers that I just shared with you in your interview. And I want you to prepare intentionally. Good luck. You have got this. Make sure that you know your rights before your interview. Make sure that you know your rights during your interview and during your follow up as well. So if you're watching on the replay, make sure that you rewind back to the beginning so that you can get all of the appropriate answers and responses that you can use to shut down those inappropriate or illegal questions that you might be asked during your interview. Good luck. You've got this.